Thank you. All right, I'll go ahead and call the January 31, 2024 City Council meeting to order and acknowledge to everyone, first of all, we have a quorum, and our other members here shortly, but acknowledge that this is a strange meeting date and time. Part of it brought about, well, the biggest part of it because of the weather, where we all basically lost a week of work or play or school or whatever. And I know you hated that, didn't you? I didn't think so. And then it worked out where the bids were going to be open on our sewer project on Tuesday, and I thought maybe we can make it both happen within 24 or 48 hours, and it looks like we are going to. So it's good that it worked out that way. I try not to meet on Wednesday evening if I can, because I know some of y'all have Wednesday night obligations you like to meet. So, but if you'll bow with me, we'll have a word of prayer and then we'll get into our meeting. Our Father in heaven, we're thankful for yet another day that you've left us on this earth and given us a chance to meet here tonight. We're thankful for those that are in attendance. We pray that you'll bless them and their families. We pray that you'll bless these folks sitting around the table that are called upon to make decisions, and we pray that you'll strengthen them and guide them, and just continue to bless us as you have for so many years, and help us to wake up to another day if it be your will. Go with us now and forgive us our many sins. Amen. I'll put a little levity in here. I probably shouldn't, but I always offer the prayer at the 911 meeting, and I always say, forgive us of our many sins. And one of my members said, no, I ain't got many. I've got some. But he said, I ain't got many. Of course, he was joking. So and the last time I didn't catch myself, and I said it again. He was joking, of course. All right, we got a set of minutes from last year, December the 19th. Y'all had a chance to look at them?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, discussion on that? If not, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Public business comment. Anybody like to address us on anything before we get into the regular part of our meeting? Okay, hearing none. Chief Hahn, I believe you're first in the queue tonight on the reports. So, yeah. Do what? Yeah, it may move quickly here.
In December, we responded to 42 calls, 14 of those in the city and 28 in the county. I talked to Joe Decker yesterday, and he got our surplus SCBAs put on Gov Deals. There was a little hold up with that with the holidays and everything, but I talked to him and he got everything squared away with that, and so he's got it listed to there. So we'll see if we get any bites on that. For our yearly report for last year, we responded to 549 calls. The year prior to that was 643, so our overall has went down a little bit. But in the city, we responded to a little bit more this year than last year, so we're holding pretty steady there and just responding out in the county a little less.
Okay.
That's really about all I've got.
How's our roster now? Are we full?
We are, yes, sir.
Okay. And then you said, I think you told us last time you had a training class about to start, or what had started?
We had one that just finished,
Okay.
so we brought on about 3 more. So it usually fluctuates right around 20. If we get in a few, it's inevitable that, we might have 1 or 2 kind of trickle out. So, but just here recently, this last week, we've had a couple people reach out that was interested. So,
Okay.
I'll answer your question. I've had some comments, the Suburban, the vehicle that follows an ambulance out, that carries the equipment that you need.
yes, sir.
I'm hearing that's not in, it's not really safe, it's not in good shape. Is that true or not?
We've had some repairs that had just recently got done on that as far as the front end work. So it has been repaired and it is safe and operational now. But it's ran a pretty long life.
Yeah.
And so
It
we,
might be something we need to look, you know,
right.
Yep.
a truck or something, whatever, to,
Yes,
cause y'all
sir.
need the equipment, especially wrecks and stuff like that, so.
Yes, sir. I'd spoke with the mayor a little while, maybe a month ago, kind of in reference to that. And just looking back, that's 409 calls that's ran this past year. The good thing about that Suburban is it's a smaller vehicle, typically a lot cheaper, and that's less wear and tear on the fire trucks that would be responding to that. So using that type of vehicle's been very beneficial to us in the past. So
Good question, good comment. Like I was something I was gonna ask. Come on in, Cal. Good to see you, man.
Missed the 5 o'clock.
I guess, you have any questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chief.
all right, thank you.
I was neglectful there. No, you're good. A while ago on public business, did you have anybody on there wanting to ask? Okay, all right. Police report would have been next. I don't know where they are, but I guess they'll be in a little later. The sewer report would be from Dale, and I don't know where Dale is, but we do have some important item of business tonight on the sewer, so I think let's go ahead and get started on that. Steve Jones from Water Management Services is here with us, and he was present yesterday when we opened the bids. We had 4 bidders, and should be in front of you there a letter that Steve put out about 2 hours ago, where he's analyzed the bids, and he'll share a lot of information with you at this time. So Steve, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, Mayor, thank you. As Mayor said, we did open bids for you all yesterday at 2 o'clock with 4 bidders, and the low bidder on the project is Conrad Construction. I'm sure that the part that catches everybody's attention is the amount of money. So the project was set up as a base bid and then an additive alternate. And so what that means is, as it states in the letter, you have the option to award either the base bid in the amount of $4,041,910 or the additive alternate, which includes, so the base bid includes moving your interceptor sewer out of the creek, which is what it's in right now, which is about 2,700 feet of brand new sewer line, and then rehab of approximately 6,500 feet of sewer line in the city. The additive alternate adds another 6,000 feet of sewer line that would be rehabbed to prevent I&I from entering the sewer system. To add the additive alternate on the bid, the way it was set up was $1,377,670, bringing the total bid to $5,419,580. The mayor and I spoke afterwards, and I did look at some value engineering options. And this, and I want to point this out. You don't necessarily, but I've recalculated this by one of the items that was in the bid was for the areas where the mainline sewer was being lined, was to set new cleanouts for every customer that was on those lines, and then to line the sewer service, because you own the sewer service from the main sewer line to the right of way. That's city sewer line. Roughly between the two, the base bid contract and the additive alternate contract, there's about 250 services. There was only one bidder on that, and the one bidder turned in a number that adds up to roughly $2 million. I don't believe it's worth $2 million of your money to line 250 services. If those were eliminated, then the total bid for all of the remaining work reduces to $3,429,380. So my recommendation to the council is to award the project to Conrad Construction for the total bid amount of $5,419,580 and authorize a change order, an initial change order to the project to remove the lining of the service lines, which would then reduce that contract amount. Does everybody follow what my suggestion is there? So you would need to actually vote to award it in the total amount, and then just to authorize an initial change order to be done to reduce that amount by removing those items.
The net total of those two comes out to what again?
The net total of those two will end up reducing with the initial change order to $3,429,360 or something like that. I think is what it is. Yeah. So you can always come back and line the service laterals later if you need to, but I just don't see the value in doing that right now as part of that project with where the numbers came in.
So if we approve the entire amount, Steve, I know I've asked you this before, so we're not obligated to do all of that. We can change order some of it out.
That is correct. So the contracts give you the ability to eliminate any of the work at any time due to convenience without any kind of penalty. So you can award the whole contract, and then, you know, you can do the initial change order, and then as the contract goes along, if it turns out that TV video shows that certain areas are in really good shape and don't need to be lined, we can eliminate those areas later on as well.
The apparent low bidder is Conrad Construction out of Lebanon. All four bidders were from Tennessee, but the other three were from 75 to 100 miles away. And Conrad is right down the road, and he's done some work for us in the past when his father was alive, probably 30 years ago. So feel comfortable with them being able to do the work, and he indicated a willingness. I jokingly said to him, I said, "Can you start Friday?" He said, "After lunch." I said, "Well, we better wait a while." I didn't expect that answer. But anyway, y'all ask all the questions you want. Please do. This is a major decision, and if the decision goes like I think it's about to, it'll be the biggest single investment we've made as a council, to my knowledge.
The add-on, the part that you said we may not need, how old, all those are the same age, so it's just the same?
Yeah, so your sewer system was all basically built at the same time. And so it's been a number of years ago now. I don't remember the exact year, but there were some flow studies done. Basically what we did was we looked at the entire system. We looked at the locations of the sewers. Obviously, sewers on top of a hill have less likelihood of infiltration. This sewer in the middle of a creek. So we tried to prioritize the sewers based on the location of the sewer, based on our engineering experiences, you know, what sewers were most likely to be of significant issue. We had inspections done on, TV inspections were done on some of the sewer lines at that time, and then so all of that was used, and that was what was prepared and provided as part of the corrective action plan that you have filed with the state of Tennessee right now as part of the agreed order with TDEC. So this project is fulfilling, you know, what was identified in that corrective action plan as the steps to help reduce the amount of flow going into your treatment plant and eliminating the issues in the sewer system that are caused by rainwater entering the system. So, yeah.
Those sections are all cast iron, I'm guessing, or is it?
No, the sewer pipe is mostly VCP, so it's clay pipe.
Okay.
So some of it may be, I won't be surprised to find some of it that we didn't TV originally potentially being concrete pipe. But that was the two major types of pipes that were used at the time.
All right. And them hooking into, re-hooking back into them, that won't be a problem it being a different material basis for what they're gonna be putting back in?
Yeah, so what they'll actually do here is the pipes that we call out to be rehabilitated, what we do is we pull called an inverted, we call it a sock. It's not exact, but it's a felt tube, and inside the felt tube is a fiberglass liner. And so they pull that in, we pump the system full of hot water, it expands the liner to meet the outside side of the pipe, to meet the outside side of the pipe, and then it hardens. And so when it's done, you end up with a fiberglass pipe that's seamless
Yeah, I've seen them.
inside of that pipe. And then they come back through with a robot and they cut the services back out to allow the flow to re-enter the sewer system. So the only place that we have flow that enters the sewer system at that time is through the service. And then where the fiberglass pipe is terminated, at the manhole, we go in and we do the contract is set up to epoxy coat those manholes so that those manholes no longer leak either.
All right. Yeah, I've seen that process. It's pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Steve, I think you said 2,700 feet will be taken out of the creek
Mm-hmm.
and put up on the bank, on the dry land. But does it have to cross the creek at one place to get to our pumping station?
Yes, we cross the creek 3 different times. So we cross coming out of the pumping station, and then about 1,400 feet downstream, we cross again to pick up a line that's coming in, and then we cross on that second easement that we had. We have to cross back up there just on the other side of the bridge. So we'll cross the creek 3 times.
How will those things be protected so that we don't have this problem in the future?
Well, there will be no manholes in the creek. So the only thing that'll go through the creek will be the pipe itself, and then the pipe will be encased in concrete. And then there'll be concrete check dams on both sides of the creek that'll prevent any water from the creek from trying to utilize the sewer line as a French drain to flow down through the rock bedding around the pipe.
Just to make sure, with the initial change order
Mhm.
you're suggesting, with the original proposal that we got the diagrams on, all the 8-inch and 15-inch main sewer lines will either be new or
Rehabbed, yes, sir.
Rehabbed.
Everything that was shown in those plans will be done
The only thing we would not be doing is lining the service lines to each individual,
to the right of way of each individual house, yeah,
of each individual house.
yeah. So it eliminates though, and those are generally run somewhere between 10 and 15 feet would be all that you would be eliminating.
You said 2,700 out of the creek, and then there's another 6,700 that we're.
There's between the base bid has 6,300 feet of rehab, and the active alternate has a little over 6,000 feet of rehab. So between, if you award based on the total bid of both of them, then you'll do over 12,000 feet of sewer line will be rehabbed. So about 2.5 miles of your system.
And what is the typical lifespan of this rehab, this fiberglass lining rehab that we're going to be putting in the sewer line?
It's considered to be equivalent to putting in a brand new pipe. So, you're looking at a minimum 40-year lifespan is what it's considered in the industry.
How much paving will be done after they put this in?
We do have some sewer, so you have some customers right now whose sewer taps run directly into the interceptor sewer that is in the creek. In order to move the sewer out of the creek, we do have to put a new sewer in the road in front of their house. And I think there's about 890 or 900 feet of new sewer that would be in the road. So we do have it is in the contract to fix the road back and then do a complete overlay and restripe of that road. So that'll be about 1,000 feet of complete overlay and restripe for the areas where we're in the road. And then in any areas where we're doing rehab, that if there's a piece of section that's collapsed or something and we have to dig down and repair it, we would do repairs, just in those general areas.
We got to do some street paving here, got some money to do some street paving, but we're not gonna consider it, or at least we've talked about not considering it until this project is done.
Mm-hmm.
So as much paving as we can get done in this project frees up more space for us to use the limited funds we have to do something
Yeah.
else, paving wise.
That 800 feet we've got to put in new in the street, is that on Commerce?
Yes. Yes, I believe it is.
Okay. Other questions?
What about sidewalks would those be affected?
I don't know of anywhere that we would be affecting a sidewalk.
If it crosses?
Yeah, if we do cross a sidewalk somewhere, we'll saw cut it back, and then the sidewalk would be fixed back.
Laura, come on in and ask questions. We now have a full complement. This is Vice Mayor Laura Cromwell. Steve Jones with Water Management. Steve's been helping us for
Hello, ma'am.
a while, and we're finally, I don't want to say we're finally getting to the promised land, but we're finally getting to where maybe we can see it. I guess maybe now is a good time to tell you, as much as I know, you're probably sitting there thinking, and that's a very legitimate question, how are we going to pay for it? Or where are we going to get the money? Probably first. We know how we're going to have to pay for it. I started off talking to the Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund. I have contact there, and talked to her in terms of a 15 or 20-year bond. Knowing how the bids came in, I had a lower anticipated figure in my mind, so when the bids came in like they were, I don't think our debt service, our system, our budget would allow us to pay it back over 20 years. So we may have to go out further, and we may, second option is USDA, United States Development Association. They exist to make rural loans to help with infrastructure. And they generally, as a federal government, what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever, a part of the federal government, they have generally a lesser interest rate. I have not had a chance to check into that. I will. They usually make loans up to 40 years. I do not like the idea of borrowing money for 40 years, but we got to do something that we don't saddle our ratepayers with too much money at one time. I will be talking to them and see what we can do with them, what the options are. And then a third option, which probably is not an option, but you could issue a capital outlay note, and those are bank qualified, tax exempt, which means the buyer, the interest they collect is not subject to income tax. And it makes it very attractive to banks or to people who have a lot of money to play with, who want to invest their money in tax-free stuff. But you can only go out 12 years on that, and I doubt very seriously we could touch that. So we're probably looking at Tennessee Municipal Bond Fund or USDA, and once after tonight, we'll start the process of getting together proposals to bring back to you to determine on that where we get our money from. We don't have to borrow it tomorrow, but we do have to borrow it pretty soon, or get the money in place, because the contractor's not going to go to work without knowing they're going to get paid. And so we'll have to have the money in place, and I would hope that we can put that together in the next, we would say reasonable, 30 to 60 days.
Yeah, I would think you should be able to do that. I'd also like to, I can also point out that these bids are good for 90 days from yesterday. So if you just so you know, that like the numbers will not, you have 90 days before any contractor could withdraw the number that they propose to you.
So we would need to do something within 90 days. So
Within 90 days, you will, need to make a decision of whether or not to award the project. And you can award, you could go ahead and award contingent upon the funding being acquired, and then, and in that case, what I would do is we would prepare the contracts to go to the contractor, but would not send the contracts out until you had your funding in place.
like they do.
So there's a number of different ways that you could vote if you want to vote on this tonight in order to to move the process forward.
Well, that was gonna be one of my next questions. Do you feel comfortable enough to vote on it tonight? The numbers are not gonna change. Wish they would, but they're not, and the risk you run after 90 days is that they go up. But the sooner we get money in place and a contract signed, the sooner they can start. And there are a lot of other things have to come in behind that. I think, didn't you or Brian tell me that it takes a year, we've got a year to get this contract?
It's 1 year, the completion time on the contract is 1 year for this contract, and then, if we look in your agreed order, your completion date to be compliant with the agreed order, Mayor, I'm going off the top of my head, but I believe is in 2026. So we're trying to get this completed so that we can then see what the reduction in flows into the system are and be able to prove that, by getting the sewer out of the creek and making the improvements in the system, that we've gotten the flows reduced, and that you have become compliant with the requirements of that agreed order.
So, if I'm hearing you right, it's gonna take a year to do this, and if we were to get started within 90 days, that's gonna put us March, April of 25 being done, and that would give us 9 to 12 months to rerun our evaluations, make sure we've met the Fed's requirements and
That's right.
to get them satisfied with the test results after we've completed the repairs.
Yes.
Yeah, we're about running out of time.
Well, I think the fact that we have done this, and when we sign a contract and issue a notice to proceed, I think you would find mercy down there, grace, if you needed it. I hope we don't, but if we were doing nothing, they certainly would not work with us on that. So let me see if I can summarize your recommendation, and you tell me different. You recommended approving the entire amount, knowing that we can do a change order or more, subject to the funding being in place. Will the motion being worded that way give you what you need?
I think that would, yes, I believe, Mayor, that would allow you to have an award contingent upon the funding becoming in place, and then that would also give you the authorization to move forward with an initial change order for the contract.
Does the contract and the change order, can it be in one motion, or do we got to have two motions on that?
That's up to you all. I think you could do it as one motion.
I think so too. I think we just include all of that. I was just gonna say, once we get a contract and we've got our funding in place, then you can issue the notice to proceed, and the clock starts ticking for him to get the
That's right.
job done. Okay.
We don't have to have another motion or anything approved because we've already done, if we were to do it tonight, once the money's there, he can go on.
Yeah, y'all will have to vote on the money.
Right, but
when
we
the
don't
time
have to
comes.
vote again with Mr. Jones.
I'd love to be, we meet again February 20th, 3 weeks from last night. I would love to have that in place where we could vote on it that night. That may be a little quick, but we'll see. I'll do my best on it. And then, if not, we'll maybe have to call a meeting. May not want to wait till the middle of March. But, if we go ahead and put this in place tonight, then we can start the process. And I'm gonna ask the folks at the municipal bond fund anyway to quote this on 15, 20, 25, and 30-year payback. I don't think they can go out past 30. USDA can. Let me go back in history a little bit. Hal will remember this. Some of you are not old enough to remember it, and some of you didn't live here. But this building was built with USDA money in 1977. And the money was borrowed for 40 years. And we paid it off in 2017. And it used to irritate me because we had to budget a payment, and it wasn't but like $5,000 a year. And I would look at it every budget and say, why don't we just pay this off? And then I'd look at the interest rate, and it was just like 1%, or it was just very negligible. And I thought, well, why, you know, we can use the money somewhere else. But that's the type of term that I don't think we'll get 1%, but they could do 40 years, and we have used USDA before, and we do have, as far as I know, a good track record with them. We made our payment every year, and it used to irritate me that we borrowed money for 40 years, but now I may have to eat those words.
But I have a question along those lines. Either USDA or with the bonds, because right now rates are, they've come down some, but they are up.
They're up.
I'm assuming, would we have refinance options down the road if need be, if,
We
on
would
the financing side?
with the bond fund. Linda told me the other day that we would have that option after a certain period of time.
right?
I'm not sure about USDA. I just don't know the answer to that. But,
That would be useful to know when we get into the
yeah,
details
it
of the
would
financing.
be. It would be, and then also, I guess, I don't know, I'm wondering if we could do it like when you build a house and with a construction loan and get a bridge loan or something for a year to build this thing, and then put your permanent financing in place. Now, you're rolling the dice a little bit, you're hoping the rates will come down.
That is the projection
Yeah.
in the next 2 years that they will come down.
Yeah, it is, and that may be a way to look at it, to go to the bond fund for that, and then look at USDA long-term or whatever. But in any event, and I hope y'all live forever, but I don't think any of us will be around at the end of 40 years. Hope we are, and hope we get to burn the note. When they roll us all out from the nursing home, we'll burn the note, but Caleb must still be a young enough man.
So I'll just be 7, don't put me in the grave too.
All right, are y'all somebody prepared to make a motion? I will tell you, I support what we've done, support what Steve has done for us, and I'm ready to get on with the project as much as it troubles me to borrow money. I hate that I promised to pay some of the worst 4 words in the English language. It's gotta be done.
I'm going to try my best to get this motion correct. I'm making the motion that we approve the contract with Conrad Construction out of Lebanon, Tennessee for the total bid amount of $5,419,580. With that, we are going to request an initial change order, which would eliminate the lining of the service lines for every connection along the 8-inch or 15-inch mains that exist, which will bring the total down to an estimated 3.4 million plus some change.
And was there something else that we were gonna? Contingent upon finance?
Yes, contingent upon being able to obtain financing either with the bond system or from USDA.
Yeah. Okay. Or if there's a benefactor out there that would like to just bankroll this for us, we'll accept that too.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, about the benefactor or about borrowing? Okay. I thought maybe you fixed to kick in some money here. Yeah, it would be, yeah.
If I had it, I'd give it.
All right, we got a motion and a second. We have further discussion? You ready to vote? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Record all 7 of us on there, whatever they used to say. Hang separately, we'll all hang together. We'll be okay. This has been a major step. Thank you, Steve, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
You just tell me and us what we need to do. From now on, we'll do our best.
Sounds great.
Yep, be careful. All right, let me jump back up to the police report. Assistant chiefs come in.
Any questions?
I like the way you thinking.
You got a grant for $5.5 million?
No, but I'll see if I can find one.
He's had a pretty good track record of catching some of his free money.
I don't know if you noticed, but there's these blinking.
Sir, I've not noticed. Yes, I have, so.
How many wrecks we're gonna have right down here when they top that, you can see that light
Well,
back of brakes on?
You know, so many people say so many things, and some of it just because of lack of knowledge of what's really happening. But the traffic and the speed through the city, since those lights have been up, unbelievable difference. Unbelievable. I'm like, wow, this is great. This is what it was for. You know, many different things to help, but it has been a lot. One of the guys told me the other night that he was sitting there and I guess he was staring, one of my guys was staring into the light, and I was like, well, quit staring into it. You know, move around. So, yeah, I mean, it is distracting a little bit for, you know, if you sit there and just stare at it. But, you know, that was kind of the whole purpose, was to be a visual deterrent to say, hey, we're here, instead of, you know, most people probably wouldn't have noticed the boxes if that hadn't been. So there was nothing sneaky about it, as they would comment on the internet. You know, it's a project we've been working on for over a year.
It's out there. It slows me down when I come through Cherry Valley, because when I get that close to home, I'm ready to get home now. See that blue light, and I automatically slow down.
I have a question. Do we really need the blue lights? We got the camera, that's the purpose of it.
So the answer to that is that there was two options with these lights. And again, a lot of the stuff, when you get federal money, they regulate it, tell you what you're going to do, what you can't do, and how you're going to do it. So it can either be solid blue or blinking. And if we make it blink, we'll have to call somebody out. It's like $875 to rent a lift, and you have to pay them per hour. You have to undo the boxes. They have a special key for them. So yes, they can be programmed to be solid if that's what the city would want, and I could get that done.
But either way, they are required to have a blue light on them.
Yes.
Regardless.
Yes. And again, some of that purpose would be to make sure that people know, hey, it's here. Because, you know, again, there's no tricks, there's no secrets, they're not traffic cameras, they don't catch speeders, they don't catch stop sign violators, they don't send out tickets, they don't do any of that. You know, it's LPR, LPC, advanced technology, and, you know, we've already got 2 success stories with it, so it works.
Other questions?
You answered a lot of that. I was gonna say, he sent us your email for what you're gonna put in the paper. But I was just gonna say, if you wouldn't mind just like saying exactly what it is, just so people know if it's out there in a different form.
Right.
Yeah.
So I did multiple phone interviews today. Even one of the emails you sent to your friend in Nashville, he called me, Mr. Andy Humbles.
Okay.
We went over the same thing. You know, he just,
I didn't say, he asked about it.
Yeah, well, he did.
And his question was, what about these license plate readers? And I said, no, wait a minute.
yeah,
I
so,
think if we would have sent a message out that this was coming, and what it was, it would never been noticed. I think what it is, you scare the people around here, and I don't mean that as ugly.
I don't
It's
take it
just
as such.
You've unnerved the people around here with the blue lights.
right.
That's as simple as.
Well, let me give you an example. So I did put it out there, but I don't like a lot of the social media outlets, because you get into battling good, bad, no matter what. It was put out on Twitter. I have the Twitter for Watertown, and you know, if people don't follow me on Twitter, I can't make them. So, but I do understand what you're
It
saying.
could have been put in there in
Right.
a local paper or.
But it was talked about in numerous meetings, and we've been working on it since January, you know, and if people would have went back, I think somebody said that it wasn't in any of the minutes, and that's just not accurate.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to make a comment on that, because I asked April to pull them up for me. We actually discussed these cameras at 3 different city council meetings between August and December of last year. And I forget the exact dates, but I know it was
Right.
as far back as August of last year.
It's a good thing for the city.
Well, I don't doubt it.
Yes.
And share with them what you can. You told me yesterday or maybe today that other organizations are now feeding you information or
Right, so-
using it for people that.
So I'll give you an amazing success story. There was something serious that happened in another county that touches us. Undercover detective called me and said, hey, can you put this tag number in your LPR system and see if it's come through there? We got a hit on it in Lebanon. And I was like, you know what, actually I can. So it was going to be a silver alert, but there's some other circumstances. Put it in there, well, long story short, it hadn't come through ours. So clearly that gives that person had to go another path. All right, so, you know, those are the things. And if somebody's looking for a tag, they can call me, I can put it in the thing, and it'll hit, send me a message, you know, if that tag comes through here. Now, there's a lot of misconception about LPRs and LPCs. Nobody's sitting behind a computer just looking at all these tags. And when the LPR catches a tag, it takes a picture of it, and if there's a hit, it sends a message. If it don't, it goes into the third-party server that operates it, and then they're deleted after so long. None of us see every tag that's run. It don't run it. It don't say XYZ belongs to XYZ. That's not the way that works. When you get a hit on it, then it sends you a message, there's a hit on this tag, and it's because it was stolen, or an SOR, or a violent felon, or this, that, and the other. You know, so it's not like somebody's sitting there running tags all day long. Now that thing runs them through their system, but it's not through our system, it's a third party. And most are deleted after 30 days, some 60, some 90, but that'll be a policy that we put in on top of the third party policy. But you know, again, these things are, we were still working on the LPR side of it this morning. You know, it's the light got everybody nervous. So, and I'll give you another, for instance, we had a serious theft on the square. Guess what's on video? The car and the people getting in it, out of it, going in the store, out of the store. So, and you know, these folks are not from here. You know, but again, you know, it's never been meant for anything other than to help the city and to make the city better.
Well,
So,
and I think the merchants, I've not heard any of them comment, but they were not happy when we moved City Hall over here because the police department came over here. And I understood that, and we explored the possibility of having a satellite station over there. But you know, running two homes is more expensive than one, and we
Right.
couldn't do that. But now hopefully that'll make them feel a little better. The cameras located otherwise here help us hopefully to keep down some bad things that sometimes go on in this park, and also to protect our ladies that work here who are, you know, a lot of people pass this building
Yes.
every day on the highway, and not all of them have good intentions. So that offers a different, additional degree of protection. So anyway, appreciate it, and any other questions?
I've been told by a few business owners on the square that they appreciate it, just for, like what he was saying, that it gives them an extra level of comfort. So,
I hope it does.
Good.
Hope they see it that way.
well, that's the purpose of it. You know, nobody even sees them but me.
yeah, I was gonna
So it's not, you know, it's not like my guys are just running around, hey, let's look at this. That's never going to happen under me.
You do have access to, like, you could pull it up at any moment.
I do, yes.
And then you said, do you know how long, like, how far back you can?
So 30 days right now is current, even on the video. You know, I can extend it probably to 45, but, you know, if crimes are reported immediately, you know, most of the time you don't report a crime 30 days after, you know, so it's 30 days, and then it records over.
Okay.
I think it's great.
I do too. I want to say something comically. Let him sit down before he asks for money. We spent too much.
Hey, I need some,
I say that jokingly. This was money well spent, and it was federal and state tax dollars.
that's right.
Didn't keep us from getting a snow plow or any of the stuff that was on.
No, and it was really an amazing process. It's a lot of work for me, but, you know, I get paid for it. And the good thing about it was we had, I'll tell this, we wrote a check, and I didn't send that check for about 4 weeks because me trying to be a good steward, I didn't want the city to be out $76,500 waiting for a federal reimbursement. So I believe as a less than 20 hours turnaround from the time the check was cashed to the time the direct deposit came back in.
Good,
So,
appreciate that.
yep.
Seriously, any other questions? I was joking a while ago. All right, appreciate it, Chief.
Yep, thanks, you're welcome.
Dale came in. We had you first in the queue. No, you were last, still are. Sorry about that, but we did approve the money for the project.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. That's
Approve the project.
yeah, hopefully that'll get started soon rather than later. I have been in contact with the contractors regarding the pump station and the pumps over there, and they're planning on, the 1st of March coming out here and working on it. That's when they have a crew scheduled to be free to come out here and work on that. Last meeting, I was helping some crew work in the creek on a sewer line that was broken, and that was fixed, and we actually got a bill for that with a little over $9,000 to have them come in the creek and repair the sewer line in the creek. If y'all want a copy of the bill, I have one of those, and those are the couple things I have for you guys.
I think we've already paid it. Hadn't we already paid it?
Yeah.
Questions of Dave? All right, thank you, man.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it. Okay, let me go to some items of business, but the major one we've covered. Yes, sir.
If I can get
Yeah.
5 minutes. Yeah, that hips.
Well, be careful. Don't hurt yourself over here. We got insurance, but we don't have to use it.
Baseball starting somewhere around 200 sign-ups so far, so
Okay.
we were at 335 last year, so we still got a good ways to go. Batting cages, I put out to the coaches for baseball and softball for help. But I have a site now on our purpleplayers.com where volunteers can volunteer to come help.
Okay.
Last year when we put the tarp out, I had a bunch of people say, if you just call me, well, I didn't have numbers, I didn't have anything. So now I've got a place where people can sign up to help. It's not going to be anything that you're obligated to do every time. It'll just be a list of numbers where I can say, can you come down and help put the tarp on, or can you come on this work day? We're going to fix these batting cages. We've got holes and poles to do 3 batting cages, and I think we have nets and everything to make that happen. So we'll do that. The other thing I wanted to ask is our basketball courts. If we could top them, the black sealant stuff, if we could top them, not only line them for basketball, but also maybe buy a pickleball
Pickleball?
net, and maybe set it out once a week, see what happens. I realize it's involved somebody having to set that net up there, and we might find somebody that could do that, because I know what'll happen if it gets left out there, but
Yeah.
but if we could sit and just see if there's any interest in doing something permanent, but it's like $199, I think is what we bought them for.
Let's see what we can come up with on the.
But though the asphalt needs to be, both of those courts need to be coated. They need to be, if nothing, just sealed and redone before they wash away. So.
All right. Tell me the timeline. I know baseball, soccer season in between baseball and football?
Yes.
This is
so-
coming from Max, so I need to ask that.
So, we should start, we pushed out because of the ice. I extended basketball a week. Should be finished February 24th. We should do our draft the week after that. Hopefully that's kind of what I'll work on this week. We'll do our draft, we'll get teams, and we'll get practices started. We'll do the same thing as long as the schools go along with setting up several different, if you didn't know, we had 6 practice fields set up around. So even if it rained, there was, some of these places run off faster than others, and it makes it a little bit easier to play. I need to get some dirt
Yeah,
for the football field. I wanted to fill in, that trench. You saw that trench. It was in the middle school football field.
From where they tore down
Where they tore the
Concrete
stadium
stands,
down.
yeah.
I thought you mentioned that. Maybe you didn't
No,
mention that to me.
but-
There's a 6-inch trench that runs through there, right
about the 35-yard line from one side to the other. I wanted to get some dirt, put in there, fill that in, and then we could use both ends.
Okay.
I could hit on both ends. I didn't want to use the far end because I didn't want anybody falling in that trench and
Okay.
breaking an ankle, but we could use both ends of it, and I could set that same net thing for a backstop like we had. Got 2 of those, and so it's kind of the thought at this point.
Okay.
I would think it would have to be good dirt. I don't think we need to put,
No, we need to put something.
but
decent.
I got that other load. I think I paid him $100 for that other load, and I drove the truck over there and got it. Because we got, I don't know if they told you, but we got a load, and they put it on there. I have not seen it. Ever since that day, it's rained.
Bob wasn't real impressed with it, Jeff.
Okay.
So we're probably gonna go back to our more expensive
clay?
dirt. Yeah,
Hey, like I say, I don't know if you'll ever.
but it'd be okay.
Yeah,
There.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Maybe, I don't know if they used it all or not.
I don't know the answer to that. You know if we used it all over there?
I don't know. I hadn't, like I say, I hadn't been back over there
I
since
hadn't
we did it
walked
that
over
day. It rained 2 days later, I think. It's been raining since then. So
All right.
that's
We'll
what,
get
just
there.
get those, if we can get those fields like we had last year, get us 6 practice fields.
Yep.
I think everybody gets a,
Middle school came out with their schedule today, so we'll know how to work around that. And of course, he's on our working group, so
Yep.
that's good. Okay,
so
all right,
pickleball, paddle, that, dirt.
okay.
I think that's got me covered.
My note taker will let me know.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, bud. Appreciate all you do. All right, well, let me give you just a brief update on the other projects. The application we made for a $210,000 grant, of which we're responsible for $10,000. Water grant, was supposed to be announced in January. I checked with them today and they pushed that off to the middle of February. I suspect that week of snow pushed everybody a week behind. So I don't have an answer for you on that. We've already talked about street paving a little bit, so we don't really have anywhere to go on that. We've certainly talked about the sewer. And I'll come back to the turntable, but we have talked from time to time, but never really gotten anywhere on sidewalks. And put out the word to the Greater Nashville Regional Council several weeks ago if they could find somebody that could help us with that. And out of the blue today, unexpectedly, I got an email from our contact on the water grant. Said, I've got you somebody that's going to contact you about sidewalks. He did this afternoon about 4 o'clock, and I promised him I would get with him hopefully one day next week and at least get the discussion started. So,
Sidewalks probably need to be discussed after roads are kind of done.
yeah,
That way it's not no
Yeah.
problems in between maybe.
we got a lot of stuff going on. And I was just thinking, if we get this $200,000 grant, we've got the $76,000 on lights. We've got $699,000 on that other water thing that we had to match 25%. We've got $1 million for street paving. We will be at almost $2 million that we have gotten that hadn't cost us anything. So that's.
For very little in matching funds.
For very little in matching funds, about $20,000. No, more than that, but we've got the money for all of that. Now, the big thing that I'm to date disappointed in is our search for turntable money. I will tell you that we're still actively looking. Went down last Friday through the efforts of Sam Hatcher. Steve Smart and I went down and met with the Commissioner of Transportation and 2 of his assistants. Had a good meeting, and you know, he basically told us that I can't get you $1.5 million, but he didn't tell us he couldn't do anything, and kind of left there with a little bit of optimism that there may be something there, not a lot, but something. He contacted Sam Hatcher back Monday and wanted more information. Now, this is after the weekend, so we met on Friday, contacted on Monday, and we're trying to reschedule that now for another meeting to follow up. And then I've got a meeting in the morning with a group of people that the county mayor has put together. And there will be some folks there from Congressman Rose's office and from Commissioner Ezell with the State Department of Tourism. And tourism has taken a little interest in this. I'm not sure whether they have money to put into projects more than, theirs is more advertising and marketing. But right now, anywhere we can get a piece of money, we're trying to do it. So we're still looking at that. So hopefully I'll have more positive things to report to you on that, but I don't today. Mentioned briefly while Jeff was up there about our working group. We really hadn't had a chance because of the weather and everything to get together, but we'll get back on that. Jeff covered the ball fields and the community leagues and the timetable and all of that. You have an audit. This is our audit from last year. Take it, look at it. If you're having trouble sleeping at night, pull it out and read it. It will take care of that for you. But I won't ask you to vote on that tonight to accept it, but next month if you have questions. Certainly if you have questions, let me know in advance and I'll try to get the answers from Mr. Poole, but our audit was good. Again, on water and sewer, we spent $5,000 more than we took in. And according to my figures and the figures we get from Jessica, that wasn't so, but somehow it shows it. But other than that, we've retired some debt, we've increased our net assets, and it's a good audit. But take a look at it, see what you think, and I'll ask you to vote on it at the February meeting. I will ask you tonight to go ahead and approve the contract for the current year's audit. Mr. Poole did the audit this time. He got it in on time. So we didn't get one of those letters from the state saying, where's your audit? And it was $5,900. Is that what he charged us this year? Yeah, I was thinking we had paid him $7,000, but it's $5,900.
I think it was 55, and then because of the crosswalk, we went up to 59 this past year.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna recommend that we contract with him again to do our audit for this current year. And that won't, of course, that won't start till July. But state likes for us to get the audit contracts in place. So I'll recommend that to you. We can vote on that tonight if you're willing to do so.
I make a motion for us to rehire the pool company to do our audits, not to exceed, I don't know, 6,500.
Yeah, that'd be good. I don't think we'll need it, but that'd be good. Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I vote aye as well, unanimous. We are going to have to vacate this room for our next meeting because they'll be doing early voting here from February 13 to March 6. So they're going to set up, city court is on the 12th on Monday.
Tuesday.
The
court's Tuesday.
Oh, court.
Yes, sir.
They're going to set up after court's over.
Miss April has coordinated with them about a time that will be done after, and they said that's, I think they said that's fine, is that accurate?
Yes, they're gonna bring the equipment after you're done with court.
So basically, assuming we approve this, what happens is once they move in, they seal this room up. And for the 15 days of early voting, then the 5 days where there's nothing going on, but they don't move the machines out. And then the regular election day. So we'll be down 21 or 22 days. We can meet up there tonight. Would have been fine, no bigger crowd than we have tonight. But if we see that there's going to be some type of hot issue or a large attendance, we can make arrangements to meet somewhere else in advance. We have provided this for early voting for several years now, and if we don't do it the people up in this area don't have access to early voting. They'd have to go to Lebanon, Mount Juliet, or Lakeville, I believe. So, you know, while it's a little bit of an inconvenience to give up our meeting room, I think it's worth it to allow people to vote up here, so I'm gonna recommend that to you. Discussion, further discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. One thing I do want to discuss, hadn't talked to the chief about it and not prepared tonight for anybody to make a motion or anything, but we had an issue a week ago yesterday, I guess. One of the 18-wheelers coming out of the industrial park going to Linwood Road, they turned left there, and that's a mess, but for some reason he turned right, and it clogged up everything. Now, our road up to Linwood Road is ours. Linwood Road is a county, so if we do anything, we'll have to coordinate, but we probably need to keep them from coming out that way. They probably need to turn around and come back out next to Mark Fletcher's on the drive-in sign there. But hopefully be ready to talk about that next month. But I got a call from an interested citizen. Lady's been here all her life and asking for help. Very nice about it, and asking if we could do something. I promised her we'd take a look at it. So we will do that. I got the chief provided me the accident report, but it just hadn't, there's a lot going on, folks. Just ain't had a chance to look at everything.
Well, Mayor, along those lines, I've had a conversation basically with someone about that, but at a minimum, can Bob, or can we get a sign to put there saying no right turn for trucks as they're coming? Basically put one on both sides of the road. When you're coming out on Linwood, if you got to go left, you can't go right to go back toward the interstate. At a minimum, I think we should put up a no right turn sign for trucks coming out of the industrial park.
I'll just tell Bob, get us one, put it up, and then we'll talk about long-term.
Sure for that, doing one of those pole systems.
You don't need a truck on that,
No, you don't need to.
Fix that.
Careful.
I don't know. I'm not.
That's what you see in Nashville, places a lot like this, a partial structure, just.
Yeah, where they can't go under.
Sides and they can't fit. If they do, they tear up their truck and pole and everything else.
I would want to do that though for like electric trucks.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah, we'll talk some more and take a look at it.
Well, if nothing else, the signage, and make another citation on the ticket when someone goes the wrong way.
Yeah. Yep. All right, let me give you a couple of items of informational business, and we'll go around the table. Next meeting, I've referred to it a time or two, is scheduled for February 20th. That's a third Tuesday. Hopefully we get back on a regular meeting date and time, and it doesn't snow. And the city of Watertown got an award last Thursday night from the Lebanon Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. It was their 100th year anniversary, and they recognized the 3 cities and gave each city a little plaque. We've got it. I left it on your desk the other night when I came back from the dinner. But we've got a plaque that's very nice for them to do that. So anyway, you were recognized in Lebanon. Okay, April? Nada? Is that what you said? All right. Caleb? Cal? Laura? Steve? Al?
I'm not gonna change that.
Mike, sorry. February 24th is closing ceremony. It'll be at 2 o'clock. We'll pass out awards. Invite all the council people to come. It's a good time, and you get both sides of the bleachers in the middle school gym will be full. It's a good time. After that is a coach's basketball game. So encourage everybody to come up and see all your peeps, because there's a lot of people there.
It is.
At 2 o'clock is the
After the championship games.
after the championship games.
And since you brought up February 24th, just kind of a public service announcement, there's also a men's breakfast at First Baptist Church that morning that is open to anyone who wants to attend. I believe it's 8 o'clock, but you can check with, there's some postings on that, you can verify that, but there's the 24th.
Who the speaker's gonna be?
I don't know. I haven't seen the details. I just know that it's on the morning of the 24th.
Yeah.
It's,
No, it'd be the 25th. Be on Sunday, wouldn't it?
it'll be on Saturday.
They're doing it on Saturday?
It's a men's breakfast on Saturday morning, the
How about that?
24th.
Okay. All right.
And that's First Baptist Church.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody? Got anything, anybody out in TV land?
No, sir.
Nobody? Anybody? Annabelle?
I'm good.
All right.
The writing that you're putting on, that you sent out today, that's going in the paper, correct?
It is.
The answer, all right.
I'm just trying to
I love it, yeah. it's
keep
great.
down. So I don't get on social, I get on social media for football. And I don't get on there for anything else. And I don't get on Hip Watertown, because all it does is make me mad. But some of my friends think that I need to know these things, and so they'll said, have you seen this? And then that defeats the purpose, and so I thought, I'm just gonna try to nip this in the bud, and, but I like to talk football, but I don't care for the rest of it. Or basketball, or whatever the season is, baseball, and now soccer.
Internet talk is cheap and everyone's a keyboard warrior, so.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And you can't win in those arguments, but it's hard to sit on the sidelines sometimes.
I figure people,
It's hard to sit on the sidelines sometimes, but I just have to cut on Marshall Dillon or something, watch TV.
Well,
That was mentioned a lot.
I was gonna say, I didn't respond much, but I responded to a few of those things, and every response I had was inviting them to come to our meeting. And I made sure the state, this month's meeting was at 5 on the 31st, and we see the response we have here, so.
And people are always invited. I don't care whether they like us, don't like us, love us, hate us, whatever. They're always invited to come
Exactly.
here, and they'll get a chance to speak. The one thing that, I made a mistake one time. I'm not gonna let a personnel issue be discussed in an open meeting. That's not fair. It's kinda like family matters. If a family has a problem, they do that in private and they come out, everything's okay. Personnel matters need to go through the chain of command, and usually that'll take care of it itself, so. All right, anything else? Anybody?
I want to thank the city employees for getting out and patching potholes.
Well, they're gonna be doing more of it now. Honestly, I think we'll be patching the patches all summer long.
Turn it going this way down the hall, I'm trying to miss the.
Yeah.
I mean, Sparta Pike's bad enough.
It is.
Glad
You know, it's not just us, it's got them.
I know it.
But thank you for saying that. They'll hear about that. Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
We're adjourned. Thank y'all. Appreciate it.